Hey Griff, we did it. We made it to 30 patrons. We're releasing double episodes of Gundam.
That's right. This time, if you can help us get up to 60 patrons, we're going to go ahead and start uploading double episodes of Gundam Seed. So if you love watching Gundam as much as us, head on over to our Patreon link at the link below and sign up today. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here watching some Gundam Seed. We got some comments here today, so let's see what people got to say. We got Jasper Rise from The Vanished Gundam saying, the Archangel and Strike are top secret projects by the Atlantic Federation, and by this point, they still don't have designated IFF codes. Only Mu Mobius Zero has proper IFF codes. The Eurasian military can capture the Archangel Strike and then tell the whole Earth Alliance that Archangel and Strike never got to Artemis, and the Eurasian military won't have any repercussions. The Eurasian military can take the tech from Archangel and Strike and reverse engineer them. Yeah, that was the plan they highlighted, but I didn't think about the fact that they might not have any IFF at all, given that the universe basically seems to run on it. And everyone knows who their enemy is instantaneously, right?
Well, I mean, it's one, they didn't really highlight that was their plan. But I think we pieced together bits of it. Because I remember specifically I had given a old Theta's Thoughts section about the fact that it seemed like the Eurasian military was maybe reverse engineering them in order to fight the Atlantic Federation.
Yeah, so I guess maybe more logical consequences then, yeah. But yeah, top secret thing created in secret, and now is running as a black organization that nobody knows where it's from, if they're friend or foes, and they're stopping at random ports. Yeah, no, this is sketch as hell, even if they weren't trying to steal it, right?
I mean, I just don't think it's a well thought out plan, because you don't know who made it to the escape pods at Heliopolis. If there's anybody from the military that somehow managed to evacuate, then they would know what's going on, or at least they would know if any of the Gundams got away.
Right, but it wouldn't change the fact that it's still a secret project, and they probably couldn't just blab about it on the public stage and say oh no, you're stealing our Gundams. No.
I think when the Archangel shows up and you fucking realize, hey, that's our secret project, it's not secret anymore, and you can blab all you want of what they've done.
I don't think that's how security clearances work. They tend to be a little more strict about it. At least in real life, around our geographical area.
I don't even know what you're talking about anymore. You don't think if, say, Iran stole a top secret plane of ours and started attacking us with it, you wouldn't be like, they fucking stole our plane? Because it's not top secret anymore. People would ask, where did they get this? When did they develop this? You would literally...
Thunder is a game about military vehicles, and their documents are still technically secret, and people leak it all the time, and then they get sent to court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't get sent to court if the government wasn't willing to prosecute and admit that you stole secret information. Your own argument works against you, Griff.
I feel like maybe I've lost the track of the argument here, but let's go ahead and go to the next comment. Next one is from Zero Hera, or Zero Hera, from The Fading Light. While I won't discuss the coordinator natural dynamic as it is brought up later throughout the series,
coordinator and natural dynamic.
Yeah, the fact that both Zaft and Alliance forces encounter civilians and treat them as no different than soldiers does show the state of the war. Neither side is looking at the other as anything less than an enemy that is to be defeated at all cost. Both the Recon Jin and Rouse team were sent on a rescue mission, but at the first sign of enemy units, they instantly switched to engage and destroy them, without confirming whether they represent a threat to their primary mission, same as the ship they took out of the Genus 7 delegation. This is a war of attrition with neither side willing to even think about the rules of engagement. Of course, there are exceptions. Captain Ramus received the orders to flee, but chose to engage in the hope of saving the support ships. knowing that even running wasn't a guarantee for anyone's survival. Even as the ship became the primary target of the enemy and her first officer asked to take advantage of Lacusa's state as a political prisoner, she not only hesitated, but had to be circumvented for the threat to be sent out. While other commanding officers are willing to break the rules of engagement without second thought, she instinctively couldn't even contemplate doing that, showing that at least she is an honorable person fighting in an increasingly dishonorable war. There
It
we go. I
follows
think,
a number of comments that we received during that episode,
yeah.
specifically pointing out that that war crimes don't matter, that you do whatever it takes to survive, and pointing at some of them people pointing out that the war crimes the United States has perpetrated against the Japanese people, and other people pointing out specifically again that you do what you have to do to survive. To which, I don't know what to say to you people. If you're justifying war crimes, then I guess maybe you don't get the message of Gundam, really?
Right. Gundam is definitely about stop not doing that anymore. Please stop, right? That's its message. But I think the context of the situation is way worse than maybe we've been interpreting it or the show has presented it thus far is kind of a twist on the information we have, right? Because it is way worse, the fact that people were immediately thinking about it and someone hesitated changes the context of those actions at least a little bit. If it's just par for the course that everyone's like, yeah, sure, use the political prisoner, maybe it's not so bad as we were all making it out to be, which is partly we were just making fun of it the whole time.
I mean, it is as bad, and I'll go into that later in the Theta's
of
thoughts
course.
section. I think I will anyway. I guess we'll say it here now, if hopefully the people are listening that need to hear this. It's been 3 weeks since the last time we saw an episode, for reasons, and we're going to be watching 4 episodes in a row today, so we won't even have the in-depth breakdown beyond this episode here that we typically get. So, 1, expect that, and 2, that's the reason why we seem maybe a bit more separated from the material than we normally are.
Right. Our next comment here is from Soul Astro from the songstress of the enemy forces. If Flay is pro-Terran/Terra, then can we say she is a terrorist? I approve of your pod, and you should continue this forever.
I already told they won the comment section for the day.
Oh, absolutely. But that is our last one there on the list, and so now we have Theta's thoughts. Theta, what are your thoughts?
Alright. The first thing Laflaga says last episode is that Bad Girl's comment is nothing more than an analogy and should be taken off the record. Bad Girl said that Kira didn't understand how much his actions put the ship in danger. How is that an analogy? Anyways, he's reading the law book while acting as Kira's defense, so I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't taking this all that seriously and is putting up a half-assed defense, knowing that they won't do anything to him. He was, after all, the one that warned Kira to put a lock on the Gundam so that no one can use it, blatantly going against his own hierarchy in the process. Also,
go ahead.
I broke this into 2 sections. I was going to keep going because I didn't know, but you had a thought.
Yeah, I guess I feel like maybe the point of it all was to impress upon Kira the fact that when they start interacting with the actual structure, that they will absolutely try to pin Kira on any of this at all. And that's just an analogy striking from the record is like trying to just confidentially say, Kira, take this seriously. We swear they will kill you.
Well, no, my comment was about Laflaga. Moo.
Yeah.
Kira didn't say anything that was an analogy. Laflaga said something that Bad Girl said was an analogy.
I figure he's covering for it then.
Well, I said he's acting as his defense. Kira's not saying anything until, the very end before he leaves the room.
Right. So your next part then.
Also, he cites Article 4 of the Corsica Treaty against them when mentioning how they took a hostage. But Bad Girl then cites Article C as an exception measures taken during wartime. Now, I don't know if she is making it up, as LaFlaga says he's never heard of it and can't find it when in the book he's holding. If it is real, it paints a very dark picture of the world we are in. There is combat going on 24/7 in our real world, while there are certainly hostages being taken as a reality, we've never gone so far as to make a legal change to acknowledge that you just have to do some inhumane things sometimes. To the opposite, in fact, our idealist best, we declared it as an absolute crime. In the world of Seed, it's gotten so bad that they put wiggle room into their laws to make an exception for the war. The alternative case that I could imagine is that she is making it up, and they are just going to an extreme to try and scare Kira into not doing things like this again, as others might not be as reasonable as they are, even as unreasonable as he may think they are being.
So we got two perspectives there. The first one is like the one we were talking about a little bit ago, which was like the dark perspective, like things are way worse than they appear, and that one line like illustrates like a warped world where it's like you just gotta commit more war crimes in order to win.
Well,
The
again,
other side of
arguably,
it,
before you get to the other side, arguably, it's not a war crime at that point. It's
okay,
not a war
in
crime because
talking
they made
about
it
it,
legal.
it
No,
is a
they made it
crime
legal.
against humanity then.
No, that's what I'm
Which is a
indicating.
broad spectrum of things you should not do,
That's
right?
why I'm saying it's not a war crime. It's also not a crime against humanity. If they've literally, that's why I said it's a dark version of the world now, where in the real world, where we do these things, we've idealized our own laws to make them against the law. It's an absolute crime. In this, if they're saying, if it's real and she's not making it up, it's literally legal to do during a
Mhm.
wartime, which means it's not a war crime. It's legal. It's in the law. Literally half of the thing we keep quoting all the time is crime. If it's legal, it's not a crime. It's
This is
just
where
war.
talking about things as a human being and then talking about it as a matter of law are just two different things, I think.
Well, that's
But
why I was indicating that it is, in our ideal world, it is an absolute crime. Does it happen still anyways? Yes, but we're basing our law on the people we want to be, not the people that we are. And here, they're not even making that distinction again if she isn't lying. If she isn't lying, that's off the table. Fuck it, it's war.
still, we have our one perspective of that, which is the dark universe. Things are really bad. The other perspective of on it that has been offered here is the fake meeting with the principal where we're going to scare the student straight and we're going to lie to his face about all the things that are going to happen. You know, you can't get away with this again. When you go to college, they aren't going to let you do this anymore. You know, that kind of deal. They're just lying to his face. I can't accept that universe. I don't think that exists. I don't think it's all entirely a fiction.
Well, I mean, I don't imagine there's a gray zone between the two where they're both making it up and not making it up. It's literally one or the other.
Right, which I guess is why, like, I'm on the first perspective. Like, things are worse. They're trying to protect him. They are trying to instill how serious it is, but they aren't just gaslighting him to get him to do what they want.
Well, as the problem is LaFlaga in this situation is that
Uh-huh.
it doesn't strike me as somebody that knows the law 100%.
Uh-huh.
In equal parts, he also seems flippant at best sometimes. So when he says,
Right, he's
I
like the
don't know
cool
that
dude who
law,
doesn't care about the rules. He
when
does
he
what's
says, I
right.
don't know that law, I don't know if he's being flippant, the
Uh-huh.
law doesn't exist, or if the book he's even holding would have that section in it,
Oh,
right?
it could just be an old book, yeah.
There are elements at play here of not living in the world ourselves that limits our ability to tell if it's just a dark, dark world, or, as you said, the principal's trying to scare him straight. Because they did
Yeah.
immediately jump to death sentence and then take it back.
We are beholden to the information that the characters have and that they're willing to reveal to us. and they are all technically unreliable. Nobody necessarily has a bead on being the absolute truth in any scenario in this series, I think. We only have what they tell us they think is true.
Well, I would say scene. I don't know if I'd say series. There's characters that I'd be more willing to believe on the face of it than others. Ramius obviously is one example because she seems like she'd be honest about things at first, and surprisingly, Flay I would take to be on the face of it. Maybe
Really, that was
not.
going to be my counter example, actually, because if Flay walks in the room and says all coordinators are evil killing machines, I'm going to be like, well, that's just your perspective, Flay. Let's see what else is happening.
Well, I think you're taking her racism to an extreme.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
things that she has said about coordinators have patently been true. I think we covered this last latest thoughts. That everything she said was true, which is why nobody argues against her when she says it. I don't feel like she's being silently responded to as a matter of, oh God, don't look at the racist lady. I think she's not being responded to because everybody knows it's true and doesn't know how to respond to it. Like
Right.
she says, coordinators could hear us from across the ship. They could rush into our faces and snap our necks before we'd even know it. They're superhuman creatures that we mere mortals cannot fathom to stand next to. And everyone's like,
Right.
fuck, that's true.
But Flay actually like gets into like the X-Men argument where it's just like, all right, so like these mutants exist out there, and like technically as a human being, like a sharp nail is already a threat to your life. It doesn't matter that someone can also shoot laser beams from their eyes. Maybe.
Well,
It's a difficult question at that point.
my
And yeah, if
point,
no one has a response to that, of course not.
my point in the matter is that up until last episode, because we don't know what the fuck Flay is up to anymore. Up until last episode, I don't think Flay would lie about anything. I think her concerns are very much based in the realism of the world to her. That's why she's scared of it. She's not acting like, I'm making shit up because I hate these people so much. Her worries and her fears seem legitimate to her.
Right. And I guess just to go back over it, unreliable doesn't mean everybody is lying. It just means that they're telling you from their perspective and it's things that they know. Flay's perspective is they are hostile and trying to kill us.
No, that's why the first thing
Yeah,
I said
exactly.
was that Flay's perspective is reinforced by the actions and opinions
Yeah.
of the people around her, which makes it a more grounded perspective, despite her views being antagonistic and harmful to the people that were around. Her views are also, lifted up by everybody else around her, as opposed to, say, the one random thing Batgirl or LaFlaga say, where we have nobody else backing up their point of view. So
Right.
Flay's horrible perspectives are at least mirrored by everybody else, which means it is a more solidly acceptable fact.
Yeah. What else you got?
I think Flay's snapping last episode was due to her realizing that she was right. Kira isn't fighting his best, and now she knows why. I also think that's the resolve she found at the end as well. I'm imagining a sort of Reverse Flash scenario, in that Reverse Flash makes Barry's life a living hell in order to make him a better hero. I foresee Flay doing everything she can to kill Kira's friends in order to drop that barrier that's preventing him from giving it his all in a fight. I suppose the irony there is that we also saw him lose that barrier last episode as well, while thinking about Flay, meaning that if that is her plan, then she's only going to be inflicting harm without any payoff.
That's entirely possible is what I'm gonna say. Flay, to me, like right now, is a tragic character, and if something she does ends up with horrible consequences, I'm just gonna be like, yep, that's the Flay story.
I suppose, if anything, though, this is just another tally in the Flay was right column. You don't know what a coordinator is capable of. Kira was just a fast programmer, otherwise just like any other natural. Suddenly, He's a battle master with accelerated reflexes. Exactly the thing Flay was warning everyone about.
Right. That's like they were friends on their station for like a while. Like that's the implication for the entire group, right? When would you have ever seen that he's like this battle master or anything else like that? You don't know what they're capable until they start doing it, and I don't think Kira even knew, honestly.
Flay wasn't one of Kira's friends. Flay was a friend of one of Kira's friends. That's why when she gets rescued out of the pod, she's like, "Oh, you're I forget his name, the kid with the glasses. You're
Yeah.
his friend." She barely recognizes him, and in the first episode before the Heliopolis incident, she
Mhm.
like passes through with like two of her friends, passes through Kira's group of friends at like I don't even know where they're at. It looks like a bus stop. It's like
Yeah, it was kind of a bus stop
it's like a
situation.
road with concrete, and they've got the little like
Or maybe like an automatic car like lot or something.
they
I don't
got
know.
like well no because there's no cars or anything around them, but they got the metal awnings, and the next thing we see is they're riding a car down the road. So maybe a parking garage, just like a an outdoor mall style parking garage.
Yeah, it's where like the Teslas come by to pick you up and automatically drive you to your location. I can only assume the infrastructure of these stations because it blew up 2 episodes later, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's where I specifically remember them. Also, that's where Bad
Yeah.
Girl crosses paths with everybody.
Right, right.
Regardless of any other complaint I may have about the show, when they do an extended launch sequence with the Gundam and the music is playing and the announcer is going over every little step on screen, it's pretty badass.
Oh yeah, positively. It's like it is a good sequence. A plus. If the point is to get you hyped, it worked.
It's kind of funny that Blitz's one gimmick, turning invisible, was basically rendered near useless by a single line of dialogue from Bad Girl. Estimate the Blitz's location from the angle of fire. So from now on, I expect that the Blitz will never fire while camouflaged until it's essentially got a kill shot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like everyone, start guessing where it is. It's what you
Well,
do, like when you have like a sniper shot or something up. It's like, all right, it came from over there ish, right?
I mean, it's that level of like in Star Trek, where you just tell the computer to do conceptually anything we need, right? Like,
Uh,
well, I have no idea where everything's coming from. Well, computer, tell me where the
Take a
missile
wild
fired
guess,
from.
computer.
Well, yeah, like they
ChatGPT lied to
literally
me.
no, they literally ask computer shit like that all the time.
Yeah.
Computer, in a world where this could happen, could you guess any possible sequence of events that would lead to the action that we just saw in front of us? And a computer like breaks down multi-universe theory in like half of a second to
Yeah, it's
explain
ridiculous, right?
the one scenario that actually took place. Like I would
But
expect
here,
that computer should like give you 17,000 different examples of what might have happened and
um,
you know, well, eliminate if this was true. They should have like a 10-minute sequence. Mind you, they do this shit while they're in the middle of a fight too sometimes.
yeah, it's all the way that's written. But like the galling thing is like the invisibility power is never going to be used to just line up a kill shot and end the entire series. Like I think that Gundam could entirely end the series on its own with just a little bit of planning, but it's not going to happen. So it's always going to be underpowered. It's just going to be a sad part of the reality of like this is a narrative,
Yeah,
right?
anytime they stop the ship, literally Blitz comes up behind them and plants explosives in their engines or some shit. Like
Exactly.
it literally is the Blitz just comes up, parks itself, guy gets out of the Gundam and infiltrates the ship or something.
Gosh, actually no. We could have like the bomb defusing scene from '86. There we go. That's what we need.
You mean OG Gundam?
OG Gundam. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
I'm saying I don't remember any bomb defusing in '86.
Sorry, I was thinking the year '86.
Well, I mean, you don't even need the Blitz Gundam for that. You just need something that moves really fast, which is everything.
It just shotgun a bunch of C4 out into space. It'll hit something.
Well, you only need the velocity of which you could shoot the C4 packages without destroying themselves on impact, and
Uh huh.
literally shotgun them across space in the area that the Archangel is going to be in. All they have to do is attach and activate. And you can do activation by remote signal. You literally, they're never going to see it coming. It's just going to look like background space debris.
Yeah, it's gonna be very silly, but I guess before we start trying to make their war plans,
this is an argument, or not even an argument, a discussion that I had with lessons when it comes to Macross, and the fact that they decided, the thing to do with our fighter jets was to give them a melee mode with hands. And it's like, how far can the Tomahawk missile fire right now? Over the horizon, right? We can literally shoot at people 5 to 6 miles away at hypersonic speeds, right?
Yeah.
So melee mode, right?
Melee mode. That's what we really need.
What we really need is to bring out dogfighting. I mean, I understand.
We need dogfighting at Mach 2, where you see your opponent for exactly 1 millisecond every 3 minutes.
My understanding of Macross was they did that because the enemy, the aliens, are giants in normal form, and they're normal just every day. So we needed big robot suits to be able to fight them on 1-to-1. But it's like,
but you see, this is why you get the Tomahawk missiles.
Well, my thing is that we're watching Macross Zero, and Macross Zero is before the giants show up. So literally, we're just fighting World War III against each other.
And we need melee mode.
Yeah, what is this for? How does this help?
The best answer I have for silly things like that is in universe, there's an engineer, he's designing it, and he goes, what would be really awesome? This. We got the budget for it. And they just do it. Someone did not give enough supervision to the project.
Yeah. Kind of like a Boeing airplane.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just watched that John Oliver thing this morning.
Oh, yeah.
If I were designing the Gundam's gun, I would put a bunch of small thrusters on it and a homing beacon. For all the times that Kira just hurls the gun off to the side in the middle of a fight, if it keeps its velocity, and there has to be some needless effort in tracking it down and retrieving it after the fight. I doubt they have the infinite number of Gundam-sized guns on board. Put some thrusters on it, have someone on the ship pilot it back to Archangel during the fight, or after once Kira hurls it away.
It reminds me of so in real life, if something gets flung off to space, while you're on a space mission or something, it's gone. The amount of velocity it has is going to be at least as much as you have, and you're going to spend too much delta V trying to get it back. It's just gone. There's no such thing as an escape pod in reality. You are not going to escape space in a pod. You're just going to be flung off to space and lost forever, because rescuing you will be too expensive. And I think about that with this gun and go, no, that's actually a perfectly reasonable idea. Just a tiny little bit of dronage, that's all it takes. You don't need much.
Yeah, like the gun bits that we have in every other series. Just do that, but for retrieval.
All right, and on that note, let's go ahead and go over to the recap. Last time was the Awakening Sword, where Le Croissant. That's not croissant. That's croissant.
Nope, that's not croissant.
It's not croissant.
Le Croissant, otherwise known as the Croissant.
Yeah. The Le Croissant launches an attack on the Archangel. Kira desires to protect his friends, awakens an unknown, almost berserker ability. He single-handedly defeats the attacking Blitz, GAT X-103 Buster, and GAT X-102 Duel.
Proving Flay right.
Yep, he was held back the entire time from being a killing machine. Never mind, that's exactly the opposite of his entire personality and ideology, right? But I mean, I guess that's just the entire, what would I call it? The entire drama around Kira, right? Where it's he doesn't want to, he never wanted to, and now he has to. It's that's the entire point of most Gundam, right? It's the hero doesn't want to be there.
Well, I mean, it's also extended proof that the reason why he was holding back was his friend. Because the one time he's not holding back, his friend's not there.
Oh, true. He doesn't have to consider killing his best friend. Or, assumedly best friend at this point. He hasn't seen him in a decade until he started trying to kill him. What else happened during the episode that was like of like big import? What do you remember? Any details?
We literally already covered that. It's been 3 weeks. I would assume
That's
that
why I'm pushing it all on you.
I would assume that the big details that I would have remembered were covered in the big section called Theta's Thoughts, where I talked about stuff that happened last episode. How about you, Griff, who didn't have a Griffin's Thoughts section, go over big things you remembered?
The reason there's not a Griffin's Thoughts section is because my head is empty all the time. There's not a single thought in here.
Well, you really can't prompt me for things about last episode after I just spent 20 minutes going over things I remembered last episode.
Right, so we mostly went over the court drama and Flay building up a whole bunch of drama too. And I guess that's just kind of the episode at that point. So I suppose on that note, since we have no idea what our hint for next time was, since again it's been 3 weeks, let's just go ahead and dive into it and see what we get there. Are you ready? But before we do, sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as from early access stuff, you can go ahead and follow us over on the Patreon. It's only $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below, join the Discord, let us know. Were you pro Rustall, or were you mostly an Orga fan?
残念ですわね。せっかくお会いできたのに、もうお別れなんて。
プラントでは皆心配していますよ。
Oh yeah, I get to spend 5 seconds with your fiance, and now they're gone.
ベサリウスは追悼式典には戻られますの？
さあ、それはわかりませんが。
戦果も重要なことでしょうが、犠牲になる者のこともどうかお忘れなきように。
肝に銘じましょう。
Well, we do know one thing, at least about
What's that?
Rao. Sorry, I forgot what to call him for a second. He doesn't want to be on the wrong side of history. Yeah, he got stabbed in the face.
Gotta make sure he's good and angry to go do it.
That's that bird from Mushoku Tensei.
I do love the timing of it. It's like, all right, your fiance is gone and you have nothing else to emotionally support you. Now I'm gonna hit you with one of your friends is dead and it's your other friend's fault.
Yasak's not dead. What are you talking about? I said he got stabbed in the face. He's not dead.
Is that? I'm sorry. I thought stabbed in the face usually meant you're dead.
No, it means he goes from not having a cool face scar to having a giant face scar. As per the concept board that we constantly look at.
That's what we call character development around here.
And to think you're the one that's seen the show. I haven't seen it for 3 weeks, and I know Yazek's still alive.
Yeah, this is where I have no memory of this part.
Well, I mean, I still at least remember last episode, and I haven't even thought about it in 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. I wrote like the notes immediately, and then went on to record a bunch of solo shit. The oddity of apologizing for not recording content for a month and then releasing more content than we have ever put out.
Hey, you know, we wouldn't be YouTubers if we didn't, like, put out, like, the sorry we didn't do any content for a while thing.
Yeah. To be fair, I know...
Since, like, blogging started.
I know that nobody's here for me, so those solo videos are literally viewless.
Yeah, that's not a fight you're winning.
It's not a fight. Remember, they're joining the fleet, Griff.
Oh, never mind. That's their side. I just saw, different colors.
The last 2 episodes have been about joining the fleet they have barely been in contact with. People shit on me for getting things wrong all the time.
Ah, showing off, are we?
自らもおいでになるということだし、閣下こそこの艦と G の開発計画の一番の推進者でしたからね。
Ah, so he's a war profiteer.
そこでシャトルに乗り換えだってさ。あ、でも俺たちどうなるんだ。
Well, at least that's a nice, clean resolution to get all the civilians off.
こんなの着てたって私たち民間人だもの。少しお願いね。
To Flay, you stopped being civilians the moment her dad died.
You know the difference between a civilian and a citizen, Theta.
Yeah, they take the personal responsibility of the human race to their hands. I said that wrong, but I'm still right. A civilian does
you get a
not.
passing grade, I'm sure.
It's only because they haven't found somebody better. Or I
There's
haven't
literally
died.
no one else who can pilot the Gundam now, so.
でもキラ君は軍の人間ではないわ。ですが彼の力は貴重です。それをみすみす。
You can at least try to bribe him.
Natalie, you're such a bad girl.
There we go. At least she continues to have a conscience.
なんでこんな急がなきゃならないんです？
不安なんだよ。壊れたままだと。第8艦隊つったってパイロットはひよっこ揃いさ。なんかあった時にはやっぱ単位が出れねえとな。
それよりストライクは本当にあのままでいいんですか？
分かっちゃいるんだけどね。わざわざ元に戻してスペック下げるっつうのもなんかこう。
できれば。
I mean, you've got a lockdown program on it, so what's the problem?
あらら、こんなところへ。
ごめんなさいね。ちょっとキラ君と話したくて。
Here comes the pressure.
そんな疑うような顔しない
What do
で。
you mean the pressure?
ま、無理もないとは思うけど。
I think you're
I mean-
you're mistaking Ramius for Natalie.
私
I mean, she's
Natalie
still
was the-
having a talk with him.
Natalie was the
ゆ
pressure.
っくり話す
She's the one saying Kira's just a civilian.
その一度ちゃんとお礼を言いたかったの。あなたには本当に大変な思いをさせて、本当ここまでありがとう。いろいろ無理言って頑張ってもらって感謝してるわ。
いや、そんな艦長。
口には
That one
出さない
part of that
かもしれ
sounded
ない
like
けど
awe to me.
みんなあなたには感謝してるのよ。こんな状況だから地球に降りても大変かと思うけど、頑張って。
I think the hardest part about going back to Earth is going to be the fact that you've existed in a, I don't know, 0.25% gravity, it seems like. For
Yeah, that's
all
gonna
this
be
time.
extra fun, right? There we
You
go.
sound
Actual-
shocked that people are saluting you. You're an admiral.
I guess more shocked that they're alive then.
ありがとうございます。お久しぶりです、閣下。
さっきも戦闘中との報告を受けて気をもんだ。大丈夫か？
He's so short.
第7機動艦隊ムーラ・フラガであります。
ああ、君がいてくれて幸いだった。
いえ、さして役にも立ちませんで。
ああ、そして彼らは。
はい、艦を手伝ってくれました。ヘリオポリスの学生たちです。
One of them hasn't had their growth spurt yet.
君たちのご家族の消息も確認してきたぞ。皆さんご無事だ。
Well, that answers that old question.
とんでもない状況の中。
Oh, except for you, Flay. But you already know.
私からも礼を言う。
閣下、お時間があまり。
後でまた君たちともゆっくり話がしたいものだな。
In fact, is Flay in that group? Because that was a real biting thing to have said. No, that's right.
No, I don't think I
She's
saw
not
her.
because she didn't put on a uniform. It hasn't helped.
発見されてはいないな。艦隊はだいぶ降りていますからね。月本部へ向かうものと思っていたが、奴ら足つきをそのまま地球へ下ろすつもりとはな。降下目標はアラスカですか。なんとかこっちの庭にいるうちに沈めたい。
Boy, I can't wait for that guy from my backstory to be there so I can betray him and get him killed.
Yeah.
こちらにイージスを含めて5機。ガモフもバスターとブリッツは出られますから。師匠ハルバートン。そろそろ退場してもらおうか。
With one ship versus an entire fleet. What do you think, Theta?
It's literally 2 ships, Griff. Pay attention.
Double the firepower.
He literally just mentioned the Gamma. They're on the Versailles, remember? We have a whole chart for it, Griff.
Alaska never agrees with anything.
It's also got the highest murder rate in the entire United States.
問題にせねばならぬことは何もない。
閣下。
このコーディネーターの子供の件はこれも不問ですかな。
キラヤマトは
Just want to point out we have another fat Hitler.
ただその一心でストライクに乗ってくれたのです。我々は彼の力なくばここまで来ることはできなかったでしょう。ですが、成り行きと
I want him to be playing with little cars. Ah, damn it.
Just poking his bird.
I just want him to have like a bunch of little micro machines or dolls or something, you know?
優しい子です。彼には信頼で応えるべきと私は考えます。
しかし、このまま解放しては。
No, that's too thick for the Hitler mustache, unfortunately.
I don't know. When we're further out, it obviously looks like a normal mustache, but it gets smaller the closer in we get.
Schrodinger's mustache. Is it there or is it not?
Schrodinger's Hitler.
できればこのまま我が軍の力とすべきだと私は。
だがラミアス大尉の話だと本人にその意思はなさそうだが。
彼の両親はナチュラルでヘリオポリス崩壊後に脱出し、今は地球にいます。それを軍が保護すれば。
ふざけたことを言うな。そんな兵が何の役に立つ。
申し訳ありません。
Yeah, I'm glad they're getting pushed back.
過去のことなどもういい。問題はこれからだ。この後、アークエンジェルは現状の人員編成のままアラスカ本部に降りてもらわねばならん。
That's right, we're not going to give you anybody from this fleet of ships, of personnel that we've got in orbit, of trained people.
Gotta go do it yourselves.
Making even less sense than the OG Gundam's version of this.
スカイグラスパー2機？おいおい、大気圏用の機体じゃねえかよ。
And in case you wanted a core fighter, here you go. If you'd done a better job, you'd have more people.
They started with like 1/4 of the people they needed.
No, they said everyone that just died would have been their new crew, apparently.
zaft は次々と新しい機体を投入してくるのだぞ。なのに利権絡みで役にも立たんことばかりに予算をつぎ込むバカな連中は戦場でどれほどの兵が死んでいるかを数字でしか知らん。
わかりました。閣下のお心、しかとアラスカへ届けます。
アーマー乗りの生き残りとしてはお断りできませんな。
Gotta make all those deaths count. Good argument.
No, I believe the point was that the people making the concessions don't give a shit about the death toll.
キラヤマトはまあいい。後で渡してやれ。
たとえ非常事態でも
民間人が戦闘行為を行えばそれは犯罪となる。
It's legal for you to be taken hostage. It's illegal for you to fight back, though.
あの日以前に志願兵として入隊したこととしたのだ。なくすなよ。
Forceful conscription.
中に知り得た情報はたとえ除隊後といえ。
君は戦っていないだろう。彼らと同じ措置は取られていないぞ。
いえ、そうではなくて、私軍に志願したいんですけど。
I want to stick around to make sure Kira suffers.
I mean, there's literally no reason I could see for them to accept this. Literally, she didn't help in any of the combat, so it's not like she earned any experience from being up here. She's literally no different from anybody in the civilian sector on Earth who just decides to join the military.
Right.
It should literally just be, okay, land, go to the nearest recruitment center, and we'll talk. I mean, not unless they're going to give her special consideration for the fact her dad's dead or something.
Special consideration for the fact she has secret info already.
You know, she walks up to the guy and says, my whole family was in Buenos Aires. It's a callback to a joke.
We made them easy mode and then you got them.
どんな夢を託して君をコーディネーターとしたのか。
So I am right about a thing I said 6 weeks ago.
メネラオスから至急お戻りいただきたいと。
やれやれ。君たちとゆっくり話す間もないわ。ここまでアークエンジェルとストライクを守ってもらって感謝している。良い時代が来るまで死ぬなよ。
アークエンジェル、ラミアス隊たちはこれから。
アークエンジェルはこのまま地球へ降りる。彼女らはまた戦場だ。
The front lines of Alaska.
確かに魅力だ。君の力は軍にはな。だが君がいれば勝てるというものでもない。戦争はな。うぬぼれるな。
でも。
Yeah, get rid of the teenage ego.
Don't worry, I've got a degree in reverse psychology.
意志のないのに何もやり抜くことはできんよ。
何をバカな。
ふざけた気持ちで言ってるんじゃありません。父が撃たれてから私いろいろと考えました。
では君があのアルスター事務次官の？
はい。フレイア
No,
ルスター。
technically I was.
父が撃たれた時はショックで、もうこんなのは嫌だ。こんなところにいたくないと、そんな思いばかりでした。
You'd think she'd also be forced to go through a psychological exam before.
I don't think they're doing anything of the sort to anybody at this point.
Well, again, these aren't recruitment officers she's talking to. These are actually, like, field people. We're not in a combat situation, so I don't think she'd get, like, field promoted or anything.
Yeah.
私も父の意志を継いで戦いたいと。私の力など。
Didn't your dad die running away, specifically to an escape pod? Literally the opposite of the will to fight.
Nah, not like she knows, right?
世界は依然として戦争のままか。
Sorry, Kira, no more room on the space bus.
Oh fuck, she's gonna die.
Oh, she's so cute.
No, she's gonna. You don't do origami in anime and not fucking die.
フレイの言ったことは俺も感じてたことだ。それに彼女だけ置いていくなんてできないしさ。
This is the point where I have to ask, is Flay a sociopath or just really manipulative?
ありがとう。
I mean, it literally doesn't have to be an orb.
I suppose so. I mean, she has true, genuine emotions here.
Why did she say, if you're staying, Toll, I'm staying, when your little boyfriend, Sai, said I'm staying? Fuck you, Sai. I'm not staying because of you. Well, turns out it's 3 ships. I missed one.
Oh, we got a whole lot of goons again. Let's go.
Well, yeah, they said that. Blitz and one of the other ones I can't remember. What's that guy you thought was dead?
He still literally hasn't recovered. I love it.
I think the concern is more that I don't think his Gundam would have been fixed yet.
Oh, also very true.
俺たちさ、残ることにしたからさ。アークエンジェル、軍にさ。
Peer pressure.
ローラシア級にグリーン18、距離500、快適予測15分後です。
こちらへ向かってきているのか。
くそ、こんな時。
搬入中止。ベイ兵さ、ミネラウスのランチは
まだです。
急がせて。総員。
Quick, put them into a combat scenario so the little kid can die.
They can't really launch if you close the doors.
フレイ、軍に志願したんだ。
Yeah, I was surprised too. She literally didn't have to go through any recruitment, sign any papers. They just, like, did it.
They even had a pink uniform at the ready.
Why are they sending them off? I don't even get that, because literally they're going to Alaska. They will be on Earth. Just, you know, put them on a transport that's already on Earth.
He's presumably not going to a military base if he goes on the shuttle.
No, I'm saying, why launch from orbit? If you're in Alaska on a military base, they're gonna have cars, planes, whatever. And you know you're gonna be in a military, you're gonna be in a fight in a minute. Just let them land.
Yeah, you're wasting way too much time here, Kira.
I would love to, but I'm floating in midair. I have nothing.
Oh yeah, he's stuck.
Projectile.
He's doomed.
Throw me a rope, will ya?
こんな状況だから地球に降りても大変かと思うけど。
君はできるだけの力を持っているだろう。ならできることをやれよ。
Good panic attack. Oh no, you left that floating in the middle of the room.
Don't throw your trash at me, kid. What are you doing?
But yeah, like, how much is this move entirely planned by Flay? What's your percentage on that?
It's not.
Not at all, and it just happened?
She had no interaction with that. Well, I don't know. There is a Xanatos level of stuff here. If you say it's based on Flay, that her saying she was going to join the military would then inspire everybody else to join the military, and then she would know that they would then go talk to Kira about the fact that they're going to join the military. But her actions had nothing to do with everybody in the higher up chain thanking Kira and letting him go. So, yeah, none of her actions have any of the high level effect. And I don't know, she didn't like give a smirk to camera or anything when she entered the room by herself.
Right. There is some genuine amount of her here.
その手に託されたそれぞれの思い、決断の一瞬はキラに何を捨てさせ、何を選び取らせたのか。再び強襲するクルーゼ隊の前に立つキラにできるのは守ることか、それとも憎むことなのか。向き合う敵の思いは測れず、放火は再び悲劇と悪夢を呼ぶ。次回、機動戦士ガンダムシード、空に降る星、切り裂く大気を突き抜けろガンダム。
Yeah, what was episode like 9 in OG Gundam? Here we go.
Yeah, we're finally getting to Earth, and that was definitely a CG atmospheric effect, wasn't it?
I have no idea. I just mean that the fight through the atmosphere, you know, where like one dude doesn't make it back to Char's little shuttle and like, evaporates as his Zaku hits atmosphere.
I feel like that definitely just has to be like a staple to like any space combat. If you're entering an atmosphere, someone's got to blow up in it, right?
I don't know.
You don't know? All right, fair enough.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen that many where we do fights and falling through atmosphere.
Well, I mean, I'm just like taking it like my vibe from other media, I suppose.
That's what I'm saying. We haven't seen that many. Like, even thinking of the Gundam Wing, right? We had Operation Meteor, and then what? Zex intercepts Hero in it's not Wing Zero at the time, is it just Zero? Whatever. He intercepts Hero at the time in a Oz mobile suit. What was that? Lyra? Are they Lyras? No, Lyras are the underwater ones, aren't they?
Libra.
Leo. In a Leo.
Leo.
Parachuting Leo, and even the parachuting Leo doesn't get destroyed.
Yeah, you're right. Darn it. It's still cool when it happens, but... So, as to the episode, then, the standing question in these scenarios is like, how do we keep them in? How do we keep them going? Of course, comparing to OG Gundam just goes, we're never letting you go. You don't have a chance. Here, it's like we got to the point. They're in a safe spot. They're allowed to leave. Everyone is finished. You can do anything you want now. Everything is now your choice. What do you want to do? And that's really good because now everyone is on board willingly. They're still technically child soldiers, so but at least they're there by their own desire to actually help out people. And Kira too is going to be there for an actual purpose, and now has to actually contend with the fact that he's made a choice that is against entirely like his ideology now. Before, he could always just claim, like, those were extraordinary circumstances, I've been pressed into it. Now he has to actually change his perspective. From here on out, right?
Well, pointedly, the OG crew didn't want to quit. So they weren't given a chance, they just didn't want to quit.
I feel like there are at least a couple of points in a couple of episodes where they get the complete chance, where it's like, they could probably just get off here, they could probably leave with the rest of the civilians, but there's some other military administration that's going, it's like, nope, you guys are sticking here forever. You're the best ones we have for this now.
It only gets covered like 3 times, twice when Matilda shows up on Earth, and once.
Yeah, it's mostly Matilda
Luna
who's like
2.
delivering the line.
Yeah, but she's not saying that they have to stay. She never addresses it because they don't ask to leave. They try to get the civilians not to leave. So it doesn't come up at all because they don't want to leave. They volunteered to be here and have never requested to get off.
Yeah. It's just that their scenario ends up being a little bit weirder for that, I suppose, because it's never like back covered or anything. They're like continually just in a position of duress, I suppose. It's their survival to keep on with this, right?
I know, it's hard to tell. It's been 3 weeks since the last time we watched Gundam OG.
Yeah, I'm working off of vibes here.
Well, I'm not working off of vibes, I'm working off of memory. My memory does not recall them ever trying or desiring or speaking about wanting to get off, other than maybe Amuro suggesting that he doesn't want to pilot the Gundam every day.
Oh yeah, Amuro's
all
the biggest naysayer to everything there, so yeah.
But then he's already turned that around too.
But still, here, it's nice, it's clear. We have our turnaround point for the entire crew. We're now all on the same page, and now we're just going to war. It's like, I'm down for that. I think this is good. Do you have any thoughts on that overall, or like anything else in the episode, Theta?
No, this just seems like a middle point resolve episode. We showed the people's resolve, where they're handling the situation now that they had a moment's downtime to consider their actions, or not their actions, but what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, the introspection episode then, yeah. And I think I could definitely feel that in the pace of everything, in the way like it was laid out, and how we just like kind of kept popping like over to different like side scenes of like, oh right, all the captains are now like talking to the Admiralty and trying to explain what's going on and everything. But I think like a nice slow episode like this is perfectly fine. It doesn't need to be every episode. But this was good. I enjoyed it still. So I think Theta, if that's everything on your mind over there, let's go ahead and wrap up for the day. This has been Stoneface Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?